So other dimensions. Have you been to one? I mean, the remote viewing we did. I mean, wasn't that a sort of
remote viewing was
that going to a different dimension?
I think it was actually. All the dimensions kind of leave their imprint in the kind of energy or the information field.
Yes.
Which, you know, people are given different names to. You know, there's quantum physics has got a concept of it. Rupert Sheldrake calls it the memory field.
Yeah.
The Vedas call it Akash.
Yeah.
I think it's all very kind of similar.
Yeah.
It's some kind of underlying energy field which is not physical matter,
yeah.
but which provides a vibration which enters
yeah.
the physical world and
yeah.
helps to define its form and character.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the remote viewing that we did is a way of looking at the imprints that physical activities and events leave on that memory field. So that's definitely some kind of non-three-dimensional experience.
Yeah. And I mean, how can we use that in a practical sense in our sort of everyday lives? I mean, I know with remote viewing, I mean, that was obviously done, you know, the main use, of course, was in the military.
Well, if you remember when David was explaining it to us,
yeah,
his thing was that, yes, there may be kind of specific uses for remote viewing, but the reason he felt this was such a wonderful gift for society, for humanity,
yeah.
was that it enabled us to understand that there are ways of gaining wisdom and knowledge which is beyond the abilities of the brain and the material senses.
Yes.
And therefore allowed us to have a bigger sense of ourselves. And he thought that was the most important gift. We can have a greater sense of who we are.
Which I think is where we're going in a sense, isn't it? With this, we talked before about this, if you like, this new consciousness, which I think is, you know, for me personally, certainly, I mean, I felt it, I know a lot of others have, that seems to be coming into the world. Again, words don't really express what I'm trying to say from feelings, but you know, I think we are being encouraged to actually go into that realm, aren't we? We're being encouraged to explore, you know, more of the, if you like, the non-material world. And that begs the question, why haven't we really done it before? You know, why are we so obsessed with the visible world? But why don't we spend more time, you know, thinking about or exploring the invisible world?
But hasn't that always been true of human beings?
Well,
that they've always explored, and in fact, you know, it's hard to understand if there has been any human, you know, civilization or existence that hasn't tried to explore the inner world. Yeah, I think this is an interesting period of change. You know, I'm not saying no to that.
I think,
but I mean, you know, the Dark Ages. There was so much. You know, in the Western world, there was, you know, the monks and there was huge kind of impetus for kind of hermetic life and contemplation and meditation and even, you know, heavier forms of penance.
But wasn't that to create something in a physical sense? I mean, hermetics is all about, you know, as I understand it, is about actually creating something, you know, in the outside world.
I'm talking hermits. You know, doing inner, you know, hiding away from society.
Oh, I see. I thought hermetics is something different. Yes. Very good. We'll mark that one up for future reference. Hermetic.
Hermetic, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I think, you know, it's definitely always been there. We can't, you know, and there's different other cultures. I mean, most people feel that modern life is much more materialistic. You know, in many ways, for the general populace, it seems to be more materialistic. I'm not sure that's a fair reflection of individuals, because if you stop anyone, if you talk to anyone about what, you know, what they're really thinking about, they've all got very profound spiritual insights. I rarely meet someone who I'm not impressed with with some of their thinking. And, you know, I think it just becomes subsumed because the general pressure in life is to kind of engage in actively with the world.
I think it's more than that, though. I think a lot of people like that. I agree with you. But it's like they're afraid it's almost to come out of the closet, you know, to be there, you know.
Very hard for them to talk about it.
In a more sort of consistent sense. You know, you can talk to any man on the street about their sort of spiritual beliefs for 5 or 10 minutes, and then he's off down the road to buy his new Porsche, you know. I'm exaggerating, but yeah.